comments. Please keep in mind what Eric briefed on the rules of engagement, so comments? In the back, please come up.
Keith Kale, 1941, Gilbertsville Road. To make it clear, it's Kale, not Keel. And the roads Micklett's Road is a dead end. That's already a public road. Grandy Road is a ordained public road, and that goes in front of our houses. But they never want to, Michelle has all the paperwork. They ordained the road when they closed the rest of the road. I had the papers and I gave it to Michelle. She tries to deny it.
I didn't say I denied it, I said that Nicholas Road is a public road. I did not speak on Grandy Road. Thank
Nicholas,
you.
no,
Let's
when I
don't get
talk.
into a debate, please make your comment.
Okay, Nicholas Road is a dead end. Grandy Road goes to the end of my parents' property up to Stevens' property. That's the only part of Grandy Road that is open, not maintained by the township. It did for years. Okay, there on Route 1, on Gilbertsville Road, that crosswalk at, Cherry Tree. Do you have to stop if there's somebody there? A person going to cross? Someone just told me you don't have to stop. Do you know?
Let's go ahead and go, Chief will take that and get back to you. Go ahead and complete your
Okay,
comment.
and then, over there on Cross Road where they built that retention pond, I think there should be guardrails there. Someone's gonna drown, and is that when we're gonna take care of it? It's a big pond right near the road. It's dangerous. You gotta look at stuff before it happens, I think so. And, I had tires dumped on my property, and I had to pay over $250 or so to get them picked up. It was a crime scene. I don't hear anything about getting reimbursed for the pickup of them tires. I could have left them there, but I paid I think it was $250. The police has the report and all that, but I had to pay it. I think they caught some of the people that dumped tires, but I'm holding the bag. I'm not a rich man. Thank you.
Thank you. Other comments? Yes, ma'am, in the back. Yes, please.
Hi, I'm Heidi Stern from 1723 Farmington Avenue. I wanted to talk about the Smola Farm situation. I live right there. Okay, we've been under construction there forever. Between down at the bottom of the hill, across 100, there's dust, debris, noise. It's been like that for years now. Now you want to continue it on with this. It's not fair. The animals are being driven from down where they were down below on the Kemmerer situation. Now they're being driven away from where we want them to be, up here where we are. A lot of animals use that area. The pond is over across the way. I don't know the road, Evans Road? So it's very popular. We have all kinds of animals there. I mean, the list is endless. Where are they gonna go? Why are you wanting to take away all the green space? You have all these achievements for green space, but you're taking it all away. I don't understand that. Why is it fair that for years and years and years we gotta deal with all this dust, noise, and extra traffic that's always being detoured onto Kemmerer from whatever the other road is that you can't use right now, past the Halfway House? I don't know the name of the road. I believe so, maybe, yeah. It's a little frustrating, and I don't understand why we're not being considered. All of us that have been dealing with this for years and years and years. It feels like 5 years, but I don't think it's been that long. That project has taken forever down in Kemmerer alone, and now you wanna consider even more with this other project, and I don't understand why this project needs to be done. Why is the other area not the campus that you have now for the police department? What's the issue that it can't be kept there? I don't seem to be able to find that information anywhere, why it needs to be moved so desperately. And that's pretty much it. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am, did you say Stern?
Stern, S-T-E-R-N.
Yes, sir.
Rich Comer, 1303 Farmington Avenue. The public comment about Georgesville Road, whether you need to stop or not, should be addressed to the public, should be told to the public. When you got 17-year-old kids doing 80 miles an hour on that road, and somebody getting hit head on, I think we need to address whatever a question comes about with that, not afterwards. Because maybe the residents themselves don't realize that if it's a law, they have to stop, they have to stop. If it's not a law, they don't know. The way I understand, a few years ago, there was a young girl hit on Georgesville Road there. And, you know, maybe we need to address that. The road is 40 miles an hour, way too fast. You got public crossing the road there, and we're gonna discuss it privately after the meeting. That's crazy, absolutely crazy.
Yes, ma'am, do you have anything else? Go ahead.
I'd like to thank the board for taking time to hear us all out today. My name is Julie Schneeweis, it's spelled S-C-H-N-E-E-W-E-I-S. I live at 330 Summer Grove Lane, and I wanted to make a comment about all of the recent construction that's going on around in our area. First of all, I understand that Artesian is requesting to build more units than was initially approved. I have an objection to that. Potts Grove Hunt is an age-qualified development that's behind where we live in Summer Grove, and it's not even completed. As a matter of fact, it seems like building has significantly slowed, and I don't think it's because of the weather. Their prices are very high for their properties, 1,558 square feet for $405,000 to $450,000. And I live in Summer Grove Hunt, and my house is 2,400 square feet, and I paid $415,000 for it just a year and a half ago. And I think that saturating our market with a lot of age-qualified homes is gonna turn around and bite us all in the backside in the long run. Because the age-qualified buildings that they wanna put in with Artesian specifically, there's nothing that says that they can't turn that into Section 8 housing if things don't go their way. Also, 20% of any age-qualified community does not have to be age-qualified. So, those are my first concerns. Additionally, as the lady, Ms. Stern, spoke earlier about the constant construction, how many more decades do we have to be subjected to building developments around our area? Part of the charm of Upper Potts Grove is that we have a lot of wooded spaces and farmland. Taking that away diminishes the charm of what Upper Potts Grove is. Upper Potts Grove is currently a wonderful place to live. It's beautiful. Adding a ton of extra construction is not to our advantage in any way, shape, or form. I also take objection to all of the constant construction trucks. They don't abide by the speed limits either. And they race up at all hours of the day and night, and they make a lot of noise. They put a lot of wear and tear on our brand new paved Pine Ford Road. And speaking of Pine Ford Road, the sewer project that they just said was fully completed, there's two things that they didn't do. One, there's a huge pile of dead wood piled up right just inside of the wood farthest from the road that they should have removed. And second, that there's still a huge pile of gravel that they didn't finish laying out. So, thank you for your time, everyone.
Thanks, Sheila. Yes, sir.
Jim Kapinski, 1958 Yarnell Road. First, I want to thank our fire company personally. I've been listening to your sirens for 47 years, and I've been going out and waving to Santa every time. At the last meeting, although it's not in the minutes, I suggested that the Board of Commissioners consider settling the Smola lawsuit. 2 days later, I get an email from Commissioner Don Reed. Jim, in one paragraph you say you are no attorney, yet in another line, after giving us only less than 3 minutes in a presentation, because you limit me to 3 minutes, would like us to disregard very sound and professional legal opinions from at least 6 practicing lawyers who have worked or currently worked in this case. That's shocking. 6 attorneys for the Smola farm. No wonder why our legal fees are so high. The next day I get an email from Trace. I guess Jim spent so much time responding to Eric and enlightening Eric with his wisdom. Thank you, Eric. I've never heard wisdom and Jim Kapinski in the same sentence. And resume, that it drained his capacity to challenge your comments concerning his barrister abilities. I'm not a barrister. I'm not an attorney. Then I see in the Upper Pottsgrove Journal, Don posts a letter on December 7th. In a recent gathering, Trace Linkler and I convened with a group of residents to address 3 overdevelopment plans which are in litigation. He then says, in the aforementioned meeting, our specific focus was to inquire whether residents would consider a settlement. That's what I was asking for. Would you consider a settlement with the Smola farm? And I get criticized. But when Trace and Don goes and meets with residents to see if they want to settle with Artesian, I guess it's okay. I'd like to take a poll. Who wants to settle the Smola farm lawsuit?
Is that your end of your comments?
Not yet.
Go ahead.
Before you dot the next I, settle the small lawsuit.
Who else next? Any other comments? Seeing none, commissioner comments.
First off, I want to wish everybody happy holidays coming up. I hope everybody has a good holiday. And again, thank you to the fire department. Like I told you before, I was looking at you from my upstairs window when I heard you coming up the street, and we did have some children out there. It's always nice to see. Makes the holidays seem more festive. I have a lot of notes here, and trying to think about what I wanted to address. And I actually think I want to address the transfer of money from open space fund into the general fund. I know we do take 0.25 of the earned income tax to go into the general fund. No, to go into open space fund. We are allowed to take 0.25 for maintenance. The state made that adjustment, that law, which is helpful because it helps maintain our open space. So 0.25 of 0.25 goes towards maintenance of open space, very much needed. I have been thinking for the past 2 months that I do kind of recall we needed a resolution to move forward with this transference of money. Am I incorrect on that? Because I do have a resolution here, I don't know if, I do believe it's the one, passed in July of 2022. Resolution 747. And I do think that we do need to look at this resolution and see how, if the legality of it actually. And I know someone brought it up, this is totally unrelated, but it does, there's 2 items under there. So if we could look at that and just make sure this is legally.
I'll look into it.
Thank you very much, Eric. We didn't do the transfer yet.
Okay. So I'll make sure I know.
But it, you know,
It's already approved.
Yes, so, everybody understands, the money that Kathy's referring to is the debt repayment from the open space to the general fund. As part of your 2023 budget, you approved you approved that transfer as part of your 2023 budget for $243,000. Just give me a second to find it, I apologize, because I don't know the line item off the top of my head. There it is. You approved $243,153,000 transfer from open space to general fund. So I'm prepared to make that transfer as I always do in December. So if that's gonna change, I need direction on that, but as far as I'm concerned, that transfer needs to be made because it was approved as part of the 2023 budget. Also, as part of the 2024 budget, you approved that same transfer for open space debt repayment of $195,000. So that, I believe, and I'm asking Eric, I guess, that gives me authorization to make that transfer. So, my year-end projections on your budget also include that. So, I mean,
Well, in actuality, so when we paid off the entire proceeds, for the debt we had, it was a 2013 bond, okay? A little over $3 million total of what we borrowed, was repaid by the slow, yearly, as the flow, the monies came in from the open space fund. So when we actually paid it off, we paid off about 1.4 million was the total amount that the tax paid over time, and then the general fund paid off 1.7. In both the different resolutions we had, 147, 149, or 749, 746, the Board of Commissioners has the authority to determine how they want that 1.7 million paid back to the general fund. You can say, okay, we're gonna waive the whole thing, and if you look at your financials, you'll see right now, we have 1.481 million in the open space fund. And with the remainder of that, 740,000 of that is still yet to be paid back. So in actuality, the open space fund will not have the 1.7 for several more months yet. But that, if we paid it off, that would be zero within the open space fund. But again, we wrote that so we can determine how we wanna pay that off. If you wanna credit, well, you read in there, if you wanna credit the land we're using for anything else, or we don't give anything at all. So you have 1.7 million to determine how you want to allocate that. And that, again, that's against the 2013 bond. Don't we comment?
Fernando, because I know it says debt fund structure, and that's what I'm fuzzy.
Yeah, and that's what we can allocate.
Okay.
So what we did was we actually mirrored modeling of the 2013 bonds that went through. So Michelle designed her stuff designed the flow until we decided how we wanted to allocate that. That gives us maximum flexibility, and also because of the way we paid off the debt, we saved a little bit less than $250,000 on the interest we would have paid anyway.
Question on that. Interest. Is it
Could you use the
okay not to
microphone?
Is it okay not to charge the
We
interest?
don't charge interest. The only thing we're paying is 1.7 of the principal we paid off. At the time that the 2013 bond was sunk, we owed 1.7 million. We're not charging ourselves interest in this.
It was $48,000 in the 2023.
You're out of order, please. You're out of order.
I don't care if I'm out of order. It's part of the subject, it's
You're out of order. Al?
$48,000
Eric,
in interest. Look at the budget.
can you look into it? Thank you.
Yeah, so anyhow, we have the 1.7 million that's there, and then we determine how we want to allocate it. All right, so we have all the documents that showed us how we actually paid off the funds. You remember the whole spreadsheet that PMF did for us with all the allocation, all the funds?
I remember it, but I can't tell you what's
Yeah,
actually.
we're not charging ourselves interest.
Yeah, well, it's also putting money in the, from the right pocket to the left pocket. That's how I view transferring these funds. Okay with that?
Right now.
I agree with your question
Yeah,
about.
right now.
I wanna thank, our people from Summer Grove, for hosting us over there. It was interesting. We went over there and they're all on the same page. They know their subject very well. And again, I think Julie and, everybody over there, Real quick comment with Jim. Jim, you do have wisdom. You've provided us with some great information. I do read everything you give us. They usually do it in a handout form. But I will also say, Jim, you have institutional knowledge. You probably attended more board meetings than anybody in this room. I do listen to you. I don't agree with you all the time, and I think we made that obvious, but I think when I first started, Jim, we agreed to disagree. But you have provided things to this board that you stumped the board on one of them, and that was when we were in violation of 703, because when you said that, Jim, I had no idea what you meant. And I gotta say, none of these board members mentioned it before the meeting, so I do wanna thank you, Jim, for your comments. We can agree to disagree, and I wanna wish everybody a Merry Christmas. It's been a good year for Upper Potts Grove, and hopefully 2024 will be better. Thank you.
Dave, Hank? Let's talk a little bit about, the subject was brought up, when we have overdevelopment in the township. So right now, we do have, if you kind of go down by Kumina Road, you see phase one going in there. It kind of reminds me of, almost kind of like base housing, it's there, and that's been approved, and they're building, we have some nice neighbors moving in. Although we have two other subdivisions that are coming in that we are pushing back on. And that has to do with, as planned, over almost 400 plus houses that are going in there. We're getting constant back and forth. I think it has to do a lot with the interest rates on this. But as Don mentioned, we are gathering more and more information on this, and we tend to, there are actually 3 cases involved with this in common pleas, and also our zoning hearing board has spent a lot of time on this. So we are pushing back on that for those folks that are concerned with overdevelopment. You heard him mentioning Upper Potts Grove Journal, that's out there too. There's a lot of detailed information if you want to go to that site, and the analysis that went to a lot of this stuff. If you like numbers, it's all there, of what we've done, and we'll continue to move forward with that and posting information. So with that said, we are now closing, we're adjourned. Thanks, everybody.